It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Colorado State assistant volleyball coach, Coach Sonja Anderson. How are you doing today?
Doing great, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching in college volleyball?
So I have played volleyball for about 20 years myself. I started in high school, then I played in college, and I played 12 years professionally. And once I got out of college and had done quite a bit of coaching in summer camps and done some private lessons myself, I really felt like that was the level that I wanted to coach at. I kind of always knew that I wanted to be a coach. I come from a family of teachers. They have taught all different age levels. And so I wanted to be a teacher just of the sport that I loved.
What was it like going to Oregon Ducks and competing as a collegiate athlete for volleyball?
It was wonderful. It was kind of at the start of when Oregon was really improving as an athletic program. So I went there in 2006. I played from 2006 to 2009, and the volleyball team was 1-17, if you can believe it, before I got there. So they won one game and then had lost 17 in a row. And then after I attended, we made it to the NCAA tournament every year after that. And so that was a pretty great, it was a great career. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
What were some of your biggest accomplishments at Oregon?
I think making the NCAA tournament every year, that was really big. Those were our goals. We made the Sweet 16 twice, and we were ranked in the top 10 nationally for several weeks. And so those were some pretty big team goals. Personally, I was just inducted into the Hall of Fame last May, which was really great. It just kind of cemented for me that we did a good job turning that program around. So I think those are probably the biggest three.
What was that feeling like getting inducted into the Hall of Fame for Oregon?
It was uh it was incredible. So at Oregon you can't be inducted into the Hall of Fame until you've been graduated for 10 years. And so luckily I was still playing volleyball at that point. I was just finishing my season in Italy. And when I got the call from the athletic director, I was absolutely blown away and just felt like it was a really great testament to all four teams, all 4 years that I had played there. And I was fortunate enough to be the captain all those 4 years. And so it was really wonderful just to kind of relive that time of my career since I was still got getting to play professionally. So
What was that feeling like getting to put on that Oregon Ducks volleyball jersey?
there definitely is quite a bit of pride with it. I had grown to love that university and my teammates and my coaches. And um, yeah, I was just really proud of what we were building and what the goals that we had. And I'm still really proud now when I go back to visit and watch as an alumni. And um, I've just traded one green and yellow for a green and gold now at CSU. So
Of course, what was that feeling like leaving the college and getting into college coaching after your playing career professionally?
So I had been the volunteer with Colorado State for a couple years. I started in 2019, and I was the volunteer before I went to go play in China, and then I came back and I helped when they had their COVID season when they played in the winter, and then had done it again several times. So I'd kind of been around the program, so I got to know it a little bit, and have just really fallen in love with the CSU program and what they stand for. And so, again, it's a sense of pride of belonging to something. I think that's the great part about sports is that you get to belong to something. And so, yeah, I was thrilled to be asked to join on an official capacity.
While being a Team USA volleyball athlete, what was that like getting into coaching and going back to your alma mater to become assistant coach?
That was a really unique opportunity. So one of the assistant coaches was on maternity leave and they needed somebody, and I hadn't started my professional season yet. And so I really appreciated the experience that it gave me and the exposure, because a life of a coach and a life of a athlete is very different in terms of time. Just time commitment is different, responsibilities are significantly different. And so it was this great opportunity to just get thrown into, here's what the coaching world really looks like, and would you be interested in it? And it definitely just sparked my love for it even more.
What was that like, obviously, getting to coach those teammates that you played with?
So I didn't play with any of it was well past my time that I had played at Oregon. And so I knew them. I knew them from coaching them in camp and from training with them in the summer and from training, in preseason with them. So it was an okay transition because it's not the age gap was actually a little bit bigger than having played with them. So
Of course, coming to Colorado State, what was that like first getting started as a volunteer assistant before making that jump to become an assistant coach?
I think it was a really great kind of onboarding process. Tom Hilbert had actually recruited me when I was in high school. I have my recruiting notes of when he recruited me. And so I just kind of joked with him that it just took him a little bit longer to get me on campus, but he finally got me there. So it was great because I was still able to play with the girls and really get to know them and develop those relationships with them before becoming a coach, because I think that's one of the most important things is having really great relationships with your with the athletes. And so I think that was the biggest benefit for me.
What was that experience like for you? As you said, you got recruited as a player to play for Colorado, but then you got to coach for Colorado.
I think we talk about in the volleyball world, the longer you play or the longer you're in it, the longer you coach, anything, the smaller the circle gets. And so for me, it was one of those moments that you never know what opportunity is going to come back around and who you're going to reconnect with. And so it was really great to go back through my notes. Everything's done email or tech, on the computer now, but it was handwritten notes when I was being recruited in high school. So had several letters and stuff from Tom, which was really great just to kind of like look back through and reminisce about that. But my husband is from Fort Collins, and so that's why we ended up here initially as well. And so for me, it's a quite a blessing to have such a wonderful program so close to where we now call home.
What was that feeling like as a coach getting to step onto that court for the first time?
With CSU or with Oregon?
CSU.
CSU. I haven't coached an official game yet. We've had a spring game. So I'm really looking forward to the fall when we have our first like full competition season. So we have 3 games coming up in the spring, and I'm kind of just trying to find my footing as a coach. I know what to do as a player. Yeah, if you ask me to, go out there and play, I know exactly what to do, but I'm trying to figure that out a little bit. So it's very exciting. And there's quite a bit of responsibility. You want to do well for your girls, and they've worked really hard all spring. And so I want to put them in the best place that they can showcase, all the hard work that they've put in. So a little bit heavy with responsibility, which is good.
Have you been able to take what you learned as a professional athlete and a college athlete over to your coaching style?
So the biggest thing for me is that I played in 10 different countries. I played on 14 different teams professionally, and then have been involved in several collegiate programs. And so I think the broadness of how I've heard things explained to me is a great advantage because I'm able to um, explain techniques and tactics and that kind of thing in different ways. So I really feel like that experience has just kind of created this like giant pocket of knowledge. And so I just have to figure out where to pull to hopefully get it to resonate with the girls.
What will a typical game day look like for you as a coach?
There's prep. I think it's for us, it's a whole week of prep, before a game. And so it'll start with scouting. It'll turn into practice planning. and then it turns into training, and there's all the other stuff that we're doing on the side. But that's kind of the week prep, and then game day we usually do like a serve and pass in the morning, a walkthrough serve and pass in the morning. We'll send the girls home, and then when they come back, um, we'll be ready for the game time. So we try to not have them in the gym too much during game day. Just get a couple touches on the ball in the morning, and then have them as ready as possible for the evening game.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've helped to build for the Colorado State program?
Sorry, could you say that one more time?
Hmm? Can you talk about the culture that you've helped to build for the program?
Yeah, so right now we're working through how to build a championship culture. It's a book that we're working through this spring, and so I think we're trying to really elevate the level in our gym. So we talk about that we don't want our base level to be very low, that we would really want to keep raising that level, especially as the majority of our girls get older. We want to kind of raise that level with them, and so I'm trying to bring my competitive spirit and some of my experience there, and just prepare them for. We've got a tough fall schedule coming out, and we really want to compete every single time we step on the floor. And so that's kind of our main focus this spring.
Who are some of the teams that you'll be facing in the fall this season?
I cannot tell you that yet. Spring schedule will be officially, or fall schedule, excuse me, will be officially released tomorrow, but I am not allowed to tell you yet. So.
Who are some of the teams that are in your conference that you'll be facing each week?
A couple that are really big rivalries kind of for us are Wyoming is always a really great match that we really enjoy playing. Air Force is close. UNLV, we're gonna get to play them, which has been a good match in the past. San Jose State, San Diego State, just there's quite a few that have been really good Mountain West rivalries. It'll be really interesting this year because we have 5 new head coaches in the Mountain West, and so I think there could be a little bit of a shakeup um, in the Mountain West this year.
Of course, what is that like, obviously, facing Air Force that is a military academy versus facing teams like Wyoming?
I think there's just an additional level of respect for what they do and appreciation. When I got to go down to the Air Force Academy for my first time when I was a volunteer, it was really incredible just to be on their campus and kind of to learn a little bit more about like the training that they go through. And I thoroughly respect the level of discipline and hard work and um, the commitment that they have. And so just I think there's a little bit added level of respect there.
What does the recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes looking to play college volleyball?
Yeah, so that landscape is changing quite a bit. I think the biggest piece is there are huge tournaments that we go to. So there's a recruiting time period that's open that we're allowed to go recruiting from President's Day weekend until just about May. And so the coaches will go out and kind of spread out all over the country, and we try to see as many athletes as we possibly can. And so, like this last weekend, I was in Spokane, Washington, and I was trying to watch about 70 different athletes that we had identified as potential prospects for our program. And so, we do online evals, and then we do in-person evals, and then we try to get to know them a little bit and see if they'll be a good fit for our program. And so it's quite an extensive process. We want kids that will be happy here at Colorado State, and we want to be able to help them be successful students and successful adults when they leave us as well. So it's all about trying to find that fit.
As a coach, what are some of the things that you look at in those prospective student athletes when going out on the road recruiting?
I think for me personally, I'm really looking for a work ethic. I would like them to be hard workers. We really pride ourselves on work that we do in the community as well. So we want them to be just prospective student athletes that are willing to give back to their program as well. And so we like girls that are energetic and that want to be a part of a really great program. We call our program the Ramily, which is Rams family. And I think it's important to find good fits that when they come in, that they'll be a part of the family and that they hopefully feel a part of that for years to come, even after they graduate.
What does that official visit look like for those prospective student athletes coming to Colorado State?
The big thing with an official visit is just to introduce them to a lot of our support staff. So they get to meet academics, training, all the staff, weights. If they have any kind of special interest in schools, we try to make sure that they can meet with their counselors or advisors for those programs, and then really give them a great facilities tour so that they can see where they'll be spending a lot of their time. And then finally, definitely meet the girls and get to spend some time with them and see if it's kind of a fit, if this is somewhere they'd like to be. And we try to get them to be able to see a game. We uh, love a home game here in Moby. And so if we can get them here for a home game, that's really important to us too.
As a coach, what is it like obviously seeing those freshmen get to putting on that uniform for Colorado State, that green uniform for the first time?
I love to watch their faces the first time they run out of the tunnel and the gym's packed, and there's a little bit of excitement, nerves, I would probably say, um, and even just a little bit of being overwhelmed. But I think that's really great because then you know that it's important to them. So that's pretty great. I try to really pay attention to that every time I see a freshman run out for the first time.
Of course, what is that feeling gonna feel like to obviously watch those freshmen blossom into seniors and do great things for the Colorado State program?
I mean, I think that's why I coach, is that you want to see these young ladies grow and develop and find what their passion is to pursue outside of volleyball and how they've grown on the court. Colorado State has really done such a great job previously of not necessarily separating the two, but incorporating the two, right? They want you to be a good, successful person off the court as well as on the court. And so um, I feel like it's just that pride thing again that you have hopefully had a positive impact on them and that you can be in contact with them for years to come. So I'm still in contact with several of my coaches, and they've been some of the most impactful people in my life. And I hope that I can do that for some of the girls here as well.
As you enter your first season as an assistant coach, what are some of the things that you plan to accomplish in your first season?
We really want to win a Mountain West title, and we would like to go to the NCAA tournament and win some games in the NCAA tournament so that we can start kind of reestablishing that winning culture. So it's been a little rocky since COVID, with the seasons kind of flipping back and forth, and you've had girls stay and girls go. And so usually with sports, there's like a very methodical, rhythmic calendar year, but in the last couple of years, it's kind of been all over the place. And so those are definitely our goals moving forward.
What is that game day atmosphere like in Colorado on a volleyball match?
It's one of the most incredible that I've ever been to. Um, the athletic department and the marketing department does a wonderful job of filling Moby. And I think the best part is that it's still a pretty intimate stadium in that arena, and that you can feel the people on top of you. Some of the basketball, volleyball arenas have gotten so big that it doesn't feel like there's a big crowd there. But that's one of the most impressive things is that I feel like Moby is like just, it's incredible. There are people there and you can feel it. So we call it Moby Magic, and I have felt it. So we had a sellout crowd last year for the whiteout, which was over 8,000 people, and we're top 10 in attendance, which is really great. It's just a really incredible place to play with so much community support.
What is that feeling going to feel like to have that sold out crowd playing teams like UCLA?
Yeah, I hope we can get a couple of them. I think the community does such a great job of supporting us, and the girls definitely feed off of it. I mean, you just feel like, talk about that, 12th man in football, or, the next man off the bench. And when you've got an entire arena cheering for you, that's just something that um, you can't put a price tag on. It's really huge.
What advice would you give those high school athletes that are looking to play college volleyball?
I think be a hard worker, be willing to give your all to your team, and be willing to keep your options open. Don't necessarily pigeonhole yourself into just one option. I think you never know what doors can open, and when those doors open, be ready and be prepared to jump through them.
What advice would you give those high school athletes entering their first year of college volleyball?
That's a good one. I definitely think take care of yourself, take care of your body, take care of your studies. That will make that first year a lot easier. There's so many transitions and there's so many different things going on that if you can be really great about taking care of the things that you can control, then you can react and you can take care of those things that are outside of your control. So just put yourself in the best place to succeed. You know, my biggest thing being able to play for 20 years was as an athlete for sure, take care of your body as best you can. That will make a big difference in the longevity and the success you can have in the sport.
What advice would you give those college athletes looking to play professionally, whether it's for Team USA, Athletes Unlimited, or even going overseas?
Yeah, I think you got to find yourself a great agent. That's when I try to help girls that are going overseas. That's the biggest piece is finding an agent that can represent you well and that can have your best interests at heart and have a plan for you. So I went through 3 agencies, I think, in my time playing overseas, and um, just finding a good fit of someone that's going to represent you and help steer you in the right direction because it's such an unknown world, right? It's another world. So kind of like if you're going from high school to college, you want to find a good fit. You're trying to find a good program, a good coach, a good group of girls, like all those types of things. And then when you go play professionally, you need that even more. You need the agent, you need their help because you're going across the world sometimes and you don't know what that looks like. And so really finding a good support system, I think is the biggest deal.
What advice would you give those professional players looking to get into college coaching after their playing career like you did?
Spend some time around as many programs as you can. Learn from the programs, learn from the coaches, go coach their camps, and see if you like their philosophy, if it's something that you feel like you can add to and you can elevate, but that you agree with. I think that's really important is to find alignment in where you're working and what you want to teach. And yeah, so just get out there and get as much experience as you can.
What advice would you give those coaches that are looking to go back to coach to their alma mater like you have?
That's such a unique opportunity. I think it's not everybody gets to do that. I know that that was really special for me. I think you have to really stay connected to the program and be invested in it. And if the opportunity arises and you get lucky, then you got to take it. But I do know that that was very rare. So,
What advice would you give those future coaches looking to get started in coaching as an assistant coach or even grad assistant coaches?
um, once again, I think it's about who you know. So as you go through this, either your playing experience or your coaching experience, make those connections, be kind and be respectful to everyone that you meet. Because as that circle gets smaller and smaller, you never know where your previous paths are going to cross. And you never know who's going to give you a call later on down the road.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Colorado State volleyball program at?
Yep. So you can find us. We are on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. I am on all of those as well. And you can look at csuramsvolleyball.com. But we're trying to have a big social media presence. So come find us.
Thank you again, Coach Sonja Anderson, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as the Colorado State assistant volleyball coach.
Thank you, Brandon. I really appreciate it.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brand, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Sonja, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thanks.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.